Alright guys, if you're like me, you're very competitive and in a friendly way. You won't step on anyone's toes, you won't have a hard time with people doing their own thing. You won't bother people, right? You're not going to be like rude to them. You're just going to focus on your own goals and have a quiet success. But if you are someone like me, I mean, and Charlie D'Amelio's young, I'm not going to diss her at all. She's awesome. I'm not going to say anything bad about anybody ever. But Charlie D'Amelio is doing so well, and I think Khaby Lame is the best, most watched YouTuber or TikToker in the world. I think he has the most followers. So I kind of want to get more than those two. But I mean, they're doing very, very well. I mean, that's like very challenging, and it's out of my control, right? I don't know how many followers I'm going to get, but I kind of want to do better than those two. That'd be really awesome, right? And if you're in the same boat as me, you want to get there, right? I mean, obviously if you have 1 million followers, even 1 million or even 100,000 followers is good, right? I mean, lots of people would love that, right? So yeah, I'm more than happy to get 100,000 followers. But yeah, I mean, having goals. I mean, I have in between goals. So the first goal is 50,000 followers. Second goal is 100,000 followers. Next goal is like 250,000 followers and 500,000. 500,000, 1 million. 2 million, 3 million, 10 million, and it goes up and up and up. But I really want to definitely have a lot of followers, obviously. Um, and guys, it's really cool. Like being an influencer is really cool, but you really don't recognize your influence until you realize. Because I'm in the top 15 to 20% of creators, so I never really realized that I was kind of like influential, And I mean, always being an influencer, that's what that means. But you really have to remember when you are an influencer that you have say, you do make a mark in the world, right? So, and obviously, not every influencer has complete control over their lives. Some of them are drunk and all the time, or do lots and lots of drugs. If you do moderate, it's fine. You're not going to be badly off. But some of them are in a really bad position, right? So I take, and some of them can't help it, right? That's how they are. They got in that situation. They didn't realize how bad it would be, whatever. You can't blame the influencer for being someone that's struggling with a lot of things, if that's how they are, right? Because every influencer that gets famous, how their personal life is totally separate from how their influencing life is, right? So, you can be a major influencer and have severe depression, or have a major alcoholic problem, or be a major alcoholic, or be someone that's struggling with whatever issues, and you can't control that. That's not your fault, right? And obviously, we don't want people to be influencers that are in that position, like the severe situations, because it leaves a bad example. But as people, we know if an influencer is suffering or struggling with something, we don't have to as people, right? We can just, obviously it's very sad, we want them to do well, we love them, but, I mean, we want them to do well, but that's out of our control, right? But yes, so if you are an influencer, and you have a lot more influence than you realize, you kind of feel, like for me, this is me, right, guys? I don't think anyone else has to feel this way. I don't think anyone else has to choose this destiny or whatever. Not everyone wants to be a human rights activist. Not everyone wants to be someone that fights for certain things, right? But for me, I really like to see people feel really good about themselves, not struggle with any disdain for themselves or shame. Because, in all, we are people, and we have different characteristics. Some of us are non-binary, some of us are trans, some of us are different race, some of us are a different religion. Some of us are, even if you're a girl, I mean, there are minorities still, right? So some of us have a hard time in general, if you're LGBTQ, if you're whatever, right? And just in general, some people have depression, some people have anxiety. So I want to be that light for people. I want to change the world, right? And really not, obviously, that's a lot to put on someone's shoulders, but I just want to change the world in a very casual, relaxed way. I want to make sure people know, yes, you can be an influencer and have purpose. You don't have to be all about, preventing getting old, or just being all about some shallow, superficial goal. I mean, yes, I don't believe, I try not to really worry about aging at all. I mean, we all do, right? But, I mean, I look so good. I feel very young, but I don't worry about it now, definitely, because I'm young. But I mean, when I'm getting older, I'm not going to want to worry about, being 80. I'll look good, but I don't want to worry about being 80 and being old or feeling old, right? I want to feel gorgeous and young all my life, right? Even if I'm 200 years old, right? But, obviously 200 hard to get to, but no one's ever done it, but yes. But anyway, just an example. But yeah, I want to be someone that doesn't worry about age, right? I'm never going to get plastic surgery. I'm never going to get Botox. I'm never going to get filler. I'm not going to get buccal fat removal. I'm not going to get liposuction. I'm not going to get any plastic surgery of any kind. So yeah, that's my goal, right? To be young and feel like you're young at every age, even at 95 or 100 or whatever, how old I get, 200, whatever, right? I mean, that's far-fetched, maybe at that time you can get that old, right? Anyway, I want to be someone that really focuses on good things, like helping people and getting people to where they need to go and motivating people, motivating people and making people feel really happy, right? Making people feel like they can conquer anything, right? And I do realize, when you are someone that's a creator and you're trying to make people feel good, you're trying to motivate people, and you're trying to make sure people feel like they're going to get success, you're trying to make sure people feel happy, it can be hard on people sometimes. Maybe they're really struggling, Some people are like, oh my God, this creator is so good and they're so popular, and they just make me so upset because I'm nowhere near them where they're at, and I'm trying to get there, but all they're doing is talking about how they want me to be famous, successful, and they're getting there, but I'm not, some people have a really hard life, right? And it's too much. They can't even do social media. They have nothing going on. They're struggling like crazy. It's really hard, right? And you can overcome that. You can be someone that overcomes that, but it can be very difficult, right? It's not for everyone to be successful, so some people have a really hard time. And that can be very scary for people, a very hard time for people, right? So, I mean, if you're seeing this video, I want you guys to know that some situations may seem impossible, but you can overcome it, and that's not always true. But I mean, yes, I mean, I've heard of people that are homeless that become wealthy. You know what I mean? Like, many people that are very, very wealthy, or celebrities, or famous people have had a broke period in their life, or have struggled, right? So it's not like it's unheard of to see someone struggling at some point in their life, even if they're successful, right? Anyway, totally live your life to the full. Be someone that's happy. Be someone that's doing well. Focus on the positives. Focus on being happy. Focus on being someone that, and when you are a creator, if you want to be entitled, or you want to be someone that's snobby, you want to do whatever, no one's stopping you, right? No one's telling you you can't do that. I mean, some people might say that you can't do that, but no one's telling you, like the whole J-Lo incident where everyone's just treating J-Lo like she's trying to live a life where she was like poor and struggling, and now she's trying to compensate by saying, she's not, she said, I don't think she's really trying to compensate. I think she knows she's a big star, that I don't think she's worried, but she's trying to grapple onto the fact that she believes, she's humble and stuff, which I think she is, I mean, even if you're a self-entitled person that's mean, I mean, I think you are someone that has a heart, and you're only doing that to protect yourself. I don't think being mean and rich is something that some people want to do. I don't think that's something that people really feel is a choice sometimes. Some people are very mean to people that are rich and successful, so maybe they feel that they're entitled. But in general, J-Lo, I love J-Lo. I think J-Lo's amazing. I think J-Lo's really good, and I think that when people try to bring someone down, even if it's J-Lo, and even if she seems fine, and even if she has a good husband, Ben Affleck seems great, right? He's gorgeous. He seems really good. He's successful, but it's not always what it's cracked up to be, and even J-Lo can fall, but I mean, I'm pretty sure J-Lo will be fine, but I mean, who knows, right? We don't know. But anyway, being someone that's successful, it's kind of nice to have a goal in mind to uplift people and make people feel good, If you look at all the creators that are out there, a lot of creators are doing very well. I mean, I see people donating to charities in Hollywood. I see people dealing with the Me Too movement. They struggle with that. I see people, doing just great movies and there's a lot of great talents in Hollywood, a lot of great people in Hollywood, and some of them don't get enough credit for what they do, right? Maybe they have a lot of charity work they do, or maybe they are so talented that even an Oscar doesn't speak volumes about them. They should get more praise, right? But I mean, I think with the whole self-entitled celebrity thing, or the whole celebrities can't relate to poor people, whatever. I mean, and I think a lot of celebrities can. I really do. I think we as celebrities, even if you're middle class, you're not totally full. Like a celebrity wealth is totally different than middle class, right? You're doing much better as a celebrity than you are in a middle class position, right? So even as a middle class person, you can relate. And I think you can. I mean, we all love I mean, for me, I know J-Lo, like, people feel like she's not relatable. People feel like she's totally spoiled. People feel she lied about being in the Bronx, and that really ruins her reputation and makes her totally stand out and be someone that is struggling because she's not authentic. She never struggled that way. I don't think you have to be someone that struggles as a poor person to really allow yourself fame and money. I mean, it can make you feel very entitled. It can make you very spoiled. It can make you not aware of what people are dealing with. And especially if you lied about it, it can make people feel like, why am I watching this person, right? But I really think, in general, being self-entitled, like a kid that grows up really, really rich, right? I mean, they know nothing else. They have no concept of what it's like to be poor. They have no concept of what it's like to struggle with money. So how can you really, teaching them a lesson or giving them lessons on being able to be humble? I mean, it's not something they can fathom, right? They don't know. Like, even like Lourdes, Madonna's daughter. I mean, Madonna's daughter. I think she's like, her mom took her, like Madonna, took her to hospitals to work with people there. And so that she knows, her mom is good. She teaches them work ethic. She probably didn't give them a bunch of stuff when they were kids, and maybe they had wealth, but they were probably had privileges taken or whatever. Madonna is probably a strict mother, but and I think her kids are well rounded. Now, Madonna donates to charities, but I think in general, I do think that some of these celebrities might not be able to relate to people that are poor, and that's not necessarily their fault. It sucks, obviously, if you're very poor. Like, I'm not saying for me, because I've been poor all my life, but when you're a kid and you're poor and you become a wealthy adult, it's not the same as when you're poor as an adult and you're struggling as an adult, whether you're rich or poor as a kid, right? It's not the same thing, right? So if you feel like you are looking at J-Lo and thinking, my God, this girl has no clue what I go through, and she lied about the Bronx. Obviously, to a poor person or someone that's struggling, it's upsetting to see. No one wants to be like, oh, J-Lo this, J-Lo that. We all hear about J-Lo, and she lied and this and that, right? But I mean, J-Lo is, when you are a celebrity, you have that much wealth. I mean, not to say that all celebrities are out of touch with what people are dealing with, but I mean, how can you blame them? I mean, and I'm not trying to take their side in that way, but I mean, we love them for entertaining who they are as people, and we want them to succeed. Not everyone, but I do, and many people do. But I mean, I think, in general, I think we all do know that a celebrity that really is too entitled and too spoiled, and maybe is mean or whatever, they hear about it in the media, right? That's going to affect them, right? Even J-Lo. I think J-Lo. Yeah, I've always felt J-Lo seemed kind. I never really felt J-Lo was someone that was someone that never was nice. I mean, not that you never know. You don't meet them. You don't know. But maybe you do meet them. And then when you meet them, you can decide. And people have said that they said she's not as nice. She's horrible. Whatever. But I mean, really, in interviews she comes across as poised, as confident, as relatable. I really feel like she comes across as relatable. I mean, I think now that she's dating Ben Affleck, I think a lot of people are like, okay, she's got it all now. we want to bring her down. And yes, I mean, if she's been mean to you or whatever, I mean, that you can't control. But, I mean, I really think that we can't really, how can you blame someone? And obviously, if you're, like I said, if you're really, really poor and you're struggling like crazy, you're not going to want to be like, oh, I feel bad for J-Lo. She's getting, you're going to be like upset. You're going to want J-Lo to suffer. You're going to want J-Lo to fall. But I mean, in general, I mean, and everybody has their just desserts that they really are mean. But I mean, J-Lo doesn't know any better now. She's been famous for so long that she really doesn't know any better. And for me, I will always be in touch with my being poor as a kid. I was always very poor. I was almost homeless 3 times, or 1 or 2 or 3 times. Like, I don't even remember. It was really bad. I was having a really hard time. So I mean, I know exactly what being poor is like and struggling. I was never homeless, luckily, so I don't know that. But I mean, at one point I was really struggling, and I had lost everything, like in my apartment. So I know what that's like, right? And I know the struggles are real, and I know it's something that you have to really, to relate to that. I think you have to experience that. I mean, J-Lo maybe never can relate to that because she's never experienced that. And I mean, what could she do about it? I mean, and like I said, obviously, if you're really poor and you're struggling, you're going to want J-Lo to deal with the consequences. And having all this discussion about J-Lo, people saying these things about J-Lo, I mean, no matter how strong she is, no matter how self-entitled that she might be, I don't know if she is, or how whatever she is, no matter how headstrong of a woman you are, or whatever, you're going to have some kind of feeling about that, whether it's, disregard or whatever. It hurts, I don't think J-Lo wants to be like someone known for that. Especially when we all thought she was from the Bronx, and we all thought she knows what it's like to be poor, whatever. But some people really don't know, like Lourdes. We'll never know. I mean, maybe Lourdes was given nothing growing up. Maybe she was totally not spoiled. But I mean, Lourdes, Madonna's daughter, will never know. I mean, I don't know how she was raised. Maybe her mom never gave her anything, right? But Lourdes will never really know what it's like to be poor. She'll never know. Like I said, I don't know how she was raised. Maybe her mom gave her absolutely nothing and made her feel and gave her the poorest of clothes and didn't raise her to be spoiled. But I don't know. Some people are rich, but they weren't raised to be spoiled. Whatever, right? And that depends on the family. And you can't see that. But I mean, if she was raised to be rich, and she was raised as being spoiled, she's not going to know any differently, right? You know what I mean? Like, how can you relate to that? I mean, especially if your mother is Madonna. I mean, how do you relate to? I mean, and Madonna's relatable, whatever. And Madonna tried. I think Madonna's really relatable. She donates to charity, whatever, right? But I mean, it's not that she's not, but for the most part, I think Madonna really is relatable. But I mean, how at some point you have to say like, what is the person's experience with being poor? What is the person's experience with helping people? What is the person's experience? And Madonna's done a ton for everybody. Lourdes will do the same, I think. So I mean, what can you really say and do about that, right? And not every rich person wants to be a celebrity. Not every rich person has goals of being a celebrity. Some rich people are philanthropists and they just donate to charity all day. It's not the same for every rich person, and not every rich person grew up rich. So I mean, it just depends. But all in all, obviously, everyone sees people in Hollywood and sees people that are like this, and they can make their decision about what they feel about the celebrity. I think now with social media, there is people really calling people out now. They really want to say this person's this and this person's that, and they're not genuine, this and that. I mean, it's a lot more quick than before, If J-Lo did something bad, I mean, first you get the reviews, first you get the articles, and people would see the articles and then they talk about it, but it wasn't like so expressed on social media where you could see it right away instantly, even though you don't know J-Lo, maybe you do, but you don't know J-Lo, and you're like, what's this news story? Oh, this, that. It's like all of a sudden you can see it. There's 1 billion users on TikTok, so any news on J-Lo, everyone's going to see, right? Anyway, thank you guys so much. All right. Yes, guys, and I mean, even J-Lo, even someone that's self-entitled and has a hard time relating to people, I mean, when they get the slack that people are giving them, it can be hard to deal with, right? Like, no one wants to be like, no, even if you're like the richest person ever and you have the best fantastic life, no one likes to be called upon in any way or in a bad way, or nobody wants to be given a negative rap or reputation. Even if you look like you're fine and you don't care and you don't feel it's a bad thing, and some people really don't care. But I mean, like, and if you did nothing wrong to get that bad reputation, that's on them, not you. But I mean, it's gonna affect you. I really think J-Lo's gonna have a harder time, with that in general. But I mean, sometimes I just think, and like Zilla Mulvaney too, right? Like, everyone's so harsh with Zilla Mulvaney. I really don't know why. I mean, Zilla Mulvaney seems genuine. She seems so nice. She's always so positive. She's always so uplifting. And like they said, like Zilla Mulvaney was talking to Drew Barrymore on a talk show, right? And I mean, for me, I just saw like two women, or a trans woman and a woman, whatever you want to call it, two people getting together, having a lot in common, really enjoying talking, and really, really just letting a new starlet enter the field of Hollywood. And like Candace Owens, like, this is so cringe. Dylan Mulvaney as a person, I mean, she's gorgeous too. I don't know why they say that, but she's gorgeous. I mean, Dylan Mulvaney looks better than Candace Owens, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know why Candace Owens is saying this, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, why is it so cringe? Like, there's trans people are very popular nowadays, right? And people that are drag queens, right? So why is it so cringe that she's talking to someone and becoming famous and really enjoying it? I mean, I think the trans community is really feeling good about her being super famous and doing things that no one's ever done, right? And I'm sure I'll be a trailblazer too. I'm sure I'll do a lot of things that people are like, especially me being so good looking as a man. I think people are just like, wow, you look like Channing Tatum, yet you're dressed up as a woman and you look like Teresa Giudice at her best, right? So I think it's really shocking to see that in the world. Like, Dylan Mulvaney, trans, beautiful like crazy, looks amazing, but she's no longer a man, right? And as a man, she was good looking, but she wasn't like the best looking, right? Like, I'm like an A-lister. I look like Tom Cruise or Robert Downey Jr., all these famous people, right? And I look very, very good as a man. And when I do drag, I look really, really good. Like, honestly, I look like, well, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I look like amazing. Like, I look really, 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 really good, right? So, like, beyond, right? And some of you guys do too. But in general, I look super good, right? So, people are just like, wow, this is someone that's going to really be famous, because who in the world looks like me as a guy and a girl, right? Like, I look like the best of both worlds, and I'm just like really good, right? And I think there's definitely some people that do the same thing, like Plastic Tiara. I think her name is Plastic Tiara. She looks great as a guy and as a girl. She's drop dead gorgeous both, right? I mean, she's Asian. I mean, he's Asian, but gorgeous, 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 right? But I mean, I'm European. I have that. Well, he looked good for sure, but I look really, really good, right? I look like, who do I look like? I look like Brad Pitt. Then people are like, Brad Pitt, and if Brad Pitt were to dress up as a woman, it would probably be comedic, right? It wouldn't be like to stun the audience, right? And maybe he would look good, but it would be comedic, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Some people love comedic drag queens. They don't feel like a drag queen should be stunning and gorgeous if they're a good-looking guy, and that's fine. People might like that, right? But in general, I like to take it very seriously in a fun way, and not take it too seriously, but just I like to be the best-looking person in the world, as both a guy and a girl. And I think that's like, who's like that, right? Like, I'm trying to think who's really, like, Channing Tatum is gorgeous, but as a woman, I didn't think he was gorgeous, but I think he was trying to make fun of it, which is totally fine. It's up to him what he does. But and I don't think, maybe he was, I don't know. And the thing is, if somebody makes fun of being a drag queen or whatever, maybe they really want to and they feel really bad. So I want to make sure people know that you can take it seriously as a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous guy. I like Channing Tatum. As a gorgeous guy, I can take it very seriously and have that message across. Like, I'm really like the only one, I think, in the world that looks this good as a guy and that stunning as a woman. I really think I'm the only one, right? In the whole world, I think. I'm trying to think who else is really good. I mean, I don't watch RuPaul's Drag Race enough, right? I do watch it, but I don't watch everybody, right? I'm sure there's got to be somebody that's a gorgeous, gorgeous guy that dressed up in drag on there, but I don't know for sure. But I mean, I'm like an A-list celebrity as both, right? So, you know, I'm very lucky, but I'm going to be a major trailblazer. I could be on the cover of almost every single magazine as both a guy and a girl, right? I could be on RuPaul's Drag Race, I could be on AGT, I could be on American Idol, I could be in a movie, I could be on TV, I could have my own show. I mean, I have lots of content ideas. These are all my own ideas, right? Except for the covers, right? Anyway, guys,